Hey guys, welcome to Galaxy Sparkles, where I turn imagination into reality. Thank you for tuning in and giving me a few minutes of your time. Leave a comment below and let me know how my craftsmanship has came along. Also like and share this video. And if you'd like to watch my progression as a one-stop shop, subscribe and let us take the journey together. Galaxy Sparkles.
Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Today we're going to attempt to make a cube type ring. It's going to be the theme of it is called HYPERCUBE, the HYPERCUBE. It's going to just be a little nice nugget of a cube on top, and I think my bezel is actually going to come up and meet the cube itself. Something kind of like that right there. Something kind of like I was making yesterday and completely failed. Just went with a basic band. Today we're going to attempt a more difficult of a band and see if we can't make this thing actually happen today, unlike yesterday. So I'm going to flatten this little leftover piece I had from yesterday's project, and I'm going to actually use this to make the cube. And then I'll come out here and cut some wire. I'm going to have to draw a little bit of wire because I think I want to have something similar to yesterday. I got a little idea. We'll just see how it kind of works out and hopefully get to be a little extra complicated of a band than we did yesterday. I was just on a time frame yesterday and really had to finish the project up. That's why I went with simple band. Today we're going to attempt another difficult band, and hopefully everything works out well. So let's get this thing flattened and kind of whipped in shape so that I'm able to turn this into the cube. And yeah, guys, y'all hang tight. We're going to get after it. I'm going to use my vise right here just to actually flatten it out. Maybe. If I can get my thumb out of it. All right, guys, we got that flat. I'm actually going to run it through the mill a couple of times to get that little inside bevel out of it. Yeah, buddy. There it is. Pretty flat. I'm going to go a quarter turn more. All right, guys. That's pretty fair there. I'll take that. Flatten that on out. We'll go in there and anneal it. Yeah. And then we will begin turning this thing into a square, hopefully. The squares have been the hardest thing for me to actually get them folded up and perfectly square. So this is going to be a nice little practice run, and let's continue gaining them XP points, guys. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. See y'all at the bench. Oh yeah, guys, I bought enough butane to last a little while. I bought 6. This was the last case Walmart had, so I went ahead and just picked up the whole case. That way, if they were happen to be out, we wasn't going to be out, that's for sure. So I just picked up the whole case. That way we can continue making jewelry for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully they get some more in by the time we get this ran out. I'm not sure of any other stores that sell it. I haven't looked into it, but anyway, here we go, guys. Y'all hang tight. We're going to go in here and do some annealing and get busy. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got our hyper square actually formed up. Hyper square turned into trapezoid. Like I said, I don't know. I just have not been able to figure out how to come up with a square yet. But anyway, nonetheless, it's definitely a hypercube turned into a trapezoid, and we're going to continue on. And I got a solder ball up under it. We are going to go ahead and hit it. Solder that little seam up. It's a perfectly good seam. I took my saw and I cut it nice and square. Everything's nice and flush and tight, so it should be a seamless joint. I don't know if that's enough solder, so I got my stick solder here ready to finish filling up what the solder itself don't take. So Here we go, guys. Let's solder this little unit up together. It shouldn't take long. It's pretty thin and should heat up fairly quickly. So let's do this. I'm gonna get my meat protector on and we'll solder this little unit up. Here we go. All right, guys, we are going to quench that and then we'll begin putting our backing on it. I'm gonna run it out to the sander and flatten both sides nice and flat, because where I did take my cutter to it, to the round pipe, there is a indentation on the top side and bottom side where the cutter itself kind of thins out the pipe and pushes it out. So I'm gonna take it out to the sander, square it up, and we'll put our backings on this thing and make it a hollow trapezoid. Here we go, y'all hang tight. Hyper square turn trapezoid. Here we go. All right, guys, I cut me a little sliver there of 1.5 inches. It's probably about an inch and a half pipe, probably by about 1 3/4 wide. I'm gonna go ahead and slit it with the jeweler saw. I'm going to anneal it, pickle it so it's nice and clean, and I'm gonna take it out to the mill, and we're actually gonna make our plate out of this that's gonna go on the back of the HYPERCUBE turned trapezoid. So here we go, guys, y'all hang tight. Let's get this thing cut and split in half. I got my catch pan under it to catch all the material, so I don't, a lot less cleanup at the end of the project. Don't take near as long to clean up my little work area here. All right, guys, let's get this thing split. Here we go. Look at that cut, boys. That cut is nice and straight and square right there. The old boy's learning how to goddamn do some jewelry sawing around here. Maybe that was just luck, I don't know, but either way, that's a nice, clean, straight, square cut, guys. So let's open this little unit up and let's begin making us a little plate here. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open it up and make a little plate. So you guys hang tight. I'm gonna run this right through the middle a little bit and get us some plate made up here, guys. We're just going half turns at this moment until we kind of get it kind of the area we like. We're just taking half turns. Oh yeah, we're getting some bite on it now. Well, it's at that color. I probably should go anneal it again, because if I don't, it's going to start getting waves in it. So I'm going to run this in, guys. I'm going to get it re-annealed. I'm going to bring it back out here and probably go probably a good full turn further. And we'll go from there, fellas. You guys hang tight, and girls, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, we're here at the mill, and like I said, we're going to actually run this in long ways. I'm going to flip it up so the curves kind of, anyway, this is how I'm going to roll it. I'm just going to go a 1/4 turn increment this first time, just to kind of, I don't want no waves in this thing, so let's go a 1/4 turn increment. Let's go another 1/4 turn. We're going to try to make a little plate out of it, guys. Here we go. Uh-oh, we hung smooth up. There it went. Another 1/4 turn. Well, we got some nice thickness still there, guys. I think I can go one more quarter turn and probably call it good after that. Here we go. All right, guys, that's a fairly good little thickness. I'm guessing that's probably going to be a 16 gauge thickness, just kind of guessing, and by what little I know about gauges, I'm going to guess that's probably 14 or 16 gauge. We're going to call that. I'm going to go and nail it, and we're going to bring it out here with a hammer and kind of flatten it out on the mandrel here, or not the mandrel, whatever you want to call this. What do they call that? Dang, shoot. Anyway, I can't think of the name of it right there. Maybe y'all can leave it in the comments for me. Where them blacksmiths are beating on it, has a horn on it. Anvil, an anvil. We're going to use this as an anvil. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. I'm going to get in here and nail it and come out here and do some anviling. All right, thank you. Hang tight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube crap. Thank you, guys. Come on, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, we got that annealed real nice. I brought me my little cutting board out here so I can stick it on there and just flatten that little unit out like so, like that right there. All right, guys, let's go in here and do some soldering. Let's put our HYPERCUBE trapezoid type thing up there, and let's get this thing nice and soldered up. We'll have us a hollow HYPERCUBE turned trapezoid. All right, here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got me a couple solder balls in there. Got it laid up in there in the corners, and let's heat this little unit up. It shouldn't take long. I'm gonna start by heating the bottom material up and work my way toward the hyper square. And we're gonna get that little thing soldered up. We'll get it cut, and then we'll do the opposite end. We'll go square it up on the sander after that. Here we go, guys. I got my stick solder prepared just in case I need to hit this back side over here on the left hand side, just in case that's not enough solder to fill the entire thing, which I think it should be, but we'll see if we can't manipulate that solder with this heat and get it where we need it to go. Man, it should be ready to take any time. All right, it's starting to flow now. Yeah, we got it manipulated. That's enough solder. We got the whole thing hit. All right, guys, I'm gonna get that quenched. Get it cut out with my pruning shears here that I got from Lowe's. My little pruning shears. It's for grass, but it's got some nice stainless steel blades on it, and like I said, this is some 14 or 16 gauge plate, so let's see how good it actually cuts that stuff. So here we go, let's quench it and cut it. Let's see. Ooh. It's definitely applying some pressure, but it's cutting it fairly nice, smooth as butter. All right, guys, let's get us another backing plate on here. Is that enough? All right, guys, I'm gonna get this other one soldered up, and ain't no really reason I don't see to bring y'all along on this little project. You just seen how it was done and how I done it, and so y'all hang tight. I'm gonna get this other end soldered up, and we'll figure out what's next together. Here we go. All right, guys. I don't know if this thing's actually been recording or just taking pictures, so I'm going to catch y'all up real quick. It is January 14th, 2025. We are in the middle of a project. It's called the HYPERCUBE. It turned trapezoid, and once I got my plates on my end caps, I got a hollow square with end caps on it. We squared it up on the sander, so it's pretty much back to square now. So we went from HYPERCUBE to trapezoid, back to HYPERCUBE. I'm in the process of drawing some wire. I milled it down to a certain size, and I've ran it through the first 5 holes with not a problem. I just got back from the bench re-annealing this thing, so we're going to see if we can't pull this thing through the 6th hole. That is the short and sweet, and I hope this thing's been recording, but nonetheless, I've had a good time up to this point. Uh-oh, here we go. We're getting some nice resistance there, just some nice resistance. See, 2, 4, 6 right there. Let's run it through that 6th hole again and see if we can get it through the 7th hole today. We're going to give it a whirl. I surrendered the other day. I just didn't have the strength to pull on that 7th hole. Let's see what happens today. See if we can get this thing through today. Woo! Whoa, that's a struggle. We got him through the 7th hole today, though, boys and girls. Goodness gracious, I'm gonna have to go re-anneal that, and we'll twist that thing up. I'm not going to go any further down. I thought I was going to go maybe to the 8th or 9th hole, but that's enough right there for me. That's pretty thin. Once we twist it up, it'll make a nice piece. So let's go in here and nail it. We'll come back out in the garage and we will put some twist on it. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. All right, guys, we are going to get this thing nice and aligned so this thing twists up real nice. All right, guys, the other day we did a reverse wire. This day, let's do a forwards wire. I'm going to add a little pressure, pushing away from the vise and pull the drill toward me, and we're going to twist this thing up till we like the twist itself. That's pretty tight right there. It's pretty cool. Let's go just a couple bumps. All right, we're going to call that right there, guys. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. All right, guys, I'm going to get this out of here, and we're going to do some band manufacturing for the HYPERCUBE. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, here is the band that I've came up with. The little twist wire is actually going to fit the very bottom portion of the finger. So I'm going to go ahead and solder that up, and we're going to wrap it around the mandrel and kind of bring it into our hypersquare here. So that is the idea, that is the plan. So let's solder this little unit up. Here we go, y'all hang tight. I'm going to get me a couple solder balls and lay on there. Just get one more. a little excessive, I think. I don't want to be excessive. We need it to bend around. I would like to have one nice one, though. Here we go. There's a little bitty one. Get my little solder pick here and move that one right up there where I'd like that to be. Just like that. All right, guys. Let's solder this little unit up and see what we can't come up with. Starting to get some good color there. Should get ready to take about any time here. There we go. We're getting some melting action. Yeah. Alright guys, I'm going to let that cool just a second. I'm going to flip it and I'm going to draw the heat from the other side to make sure that we get good penetration all the way through. Here it comes. Just like that right there, guys. Great penetration all the way through. All right. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I don't think it's going to come apart as we're wrapping it around the mandrel the way the one did yesterday. Yesterday we just didn't get good penetration all the way through, but today I think is definitely a different story. So here we go. Y'all hang tight. We're going to quench it, pickle it, get it nice and clean, and wrap this little unit up. Here we go. All right, guys, the idea for me to try to get this wrapped around the mandrel is actually center that centerpiece of the band itself on the mandrel, and that's where I want to begin my actual starting point. That's where I want to begin, is in the center there, so it's nice and square. We want it square on the finger, that's for sure, so that's going to be the challenging part in the beginning of this forming process anyway. So we definitely want that piece in the center of our finger at the bottom. Alright guys, I think we got that pretty nice, so let's go ahead and continue forming this around the mandrel. See, I think I actually want to make this probably a, I don't know. Should be, let's see how big that thing looks here. Let's get this thing wrapped on around and ready to take on that hyper square. Alright guys, you hang tight. Let me figure this little unit out. Alright guys, I actually got that thing wrapped around the mandrel. Now what I need to do is find my point to actually grab a hold of and bend it back up to be vertical with the HYPERCUBE. So I need to find my, however I'm going to do that, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to put a little thought into how I'm actually going to find my point that I need to bring it back up. So you guys hang tight. Let me get this thing a little figured out a little bit better, and we'll continue on. Here we go. All right, guys, this is what I've came up with this far. Our bottom portion is very, very close, very uniform to being exactly where we needed it, almost perfectly square. And speaking of our square, hyper square, this is going to sit in there just like that, something very similar. I think I may need I don't know, I might have to do a little manipulation here and kind of get my side pieces more horizontal and probably bring the ring on in a little bit. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to nail this ring part and get it nice and soft again, a little more pliable and a little more workable. And we'll continue on from there, guys. So here we go. You all hang tight. All right, guys, I got that nice flush and square on there. Everything's nice and flush. And I'm going to go ahead and solder that thing up, and then we can form it better around the mandrel. But everything's nice, flush, and tight, and it should solder up real nice. So what I think I'm going to do, I don't know the best approach at this time, so I'm going to get off here and figure out my best approach of getting this thing soldered up so it don't move on me. And we'll see the end result here directly. You all hang tight. All right, guys, we got that torch refilled. Let's get this thing heated up maybe now. That thing was on empty, that torch was, and it just wasn't putting out the heat that I needed for that to heat up real nice and flow. It wasn't flowing. It was so close to flowing, but it just didn't have enough fuel to get it to the temperature we needed, I guess. With all that annealing, it really burns up that fuel real quick. I've been burning a lot of fuel here lately. That's why I went ahead and bought the whole case that Walmart had, because that was their last case they did have, and I don't know if they're going to get some more, when they're going to get some more, and I'm not sure if any other stores in town have selling any, because I haven't had a look. So we just went ahead and took extra precautions to get us through the next couple of weeks, and hopefully Walmart will pick up some more and we won't have to sweat it. So we ain't going to sweat the small stuff anyway. We'll start working with wax again. We need to practice with wax again anyway. There we go. We're starting to get some liquefied action there now. We finally got it back to temperature to where it's ready to almost flow. All right, guys, we have finished the HYPERCUBE, turned trapezoid, and then I took the sander and kind of manipulated the metal a little bit and turned it back into a cube pretty much. So we have finished the HYPERCUBE, guys, and I grade this a C. And if I had a polisher, I could definitely turn this into a C+ and get all the sand marks off of it and really turn it into at least a C+ ring. And it turned out to be a real nice ring, in my opinion. It is almost just like my imagination had. It's all nice and uniform, almost perfectly square to the bottom of your finger. And the top is nice and flush, and the prongs have come right up to the sides, edges, and it has turned out real nice. I don't know if you can tell how uniform the ring is, but it's nice and uniform. And guys, we are definitely gaining them XP points on a daily basis. Leveling up quick, boys. Y'all better come on, catch up if you're trying to catch up, or I'm going to catch up to you if you're slowing down. Either way, I'm coming. Galaxy Sparkles is coming at you. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. We'll see y'all tomorrow. And like always, I'm going to leave you with a huge energy ball full of energy, full of imagination, full of love, full of joy, and full of connectedness. Coming at you. All right, guys, catch at it if you can. You better brace yourself if you see it coming at you, because it's going to knock you down. It's full of it, boys. It's full of it. All right, here we go. Y'all hang tight. We'll see y'all tomorrow.